This week, I want to talk about Derrick Henry. And as you know, Cork Bats is the #1 Derrick Henry fan site on the internet. And while we are incredibly biased towards the king, I'm going to base this take entirely on facts. And I gave a similar take on Cork Bats a couple weeks ago and noticed that it's starting to pick up a little bit of steam. Like our guy Mark Mariani tweeted out something similar this morning. So did Steve Lehman. This take is it's picking up steam locally, but it needs to be heard nationally. And that take is Derrick Henry needs to be considered for the MVP, if not win the dang thing. Okay. Are you guys familiar with the movie Citizen Kane? You know, the Orson Welles classic.
I'm not, no.
Oh, yes. I studied it in film class at the
Okay,
University of Tennessee.
good. Yeah. It's
the mirror scene with the way they used the desk to reflect was phenomenal.
Yes.
Is that where you're going?
Yes, yeah, that scene in particular. No, the whole movie. I mean, like it's the Orson Welles classic. Don, since you don't know, it's American Film Institute's greatest film over the last 100 years. And do you guys remember what year it won Best Picture? Like, do you guys have any guesses?
I would go 1971.
Actually, first of all, you're about 3 decades off on that one. But it actually didn't win Best Picture. It was beat out in 1942 by a movie called How Green Was My Valley. How Green Was My Valley? More like How Dumb Were Those Voters? Citizen Kane missed out on Best Picture to some movie you wouldn't even be able to find in the middle aisles at Blockbusters if they still existed.
Well, if they would have released it again in 1971, it would have won.
That's true. And you're not wrong there. If they would have re-released it in any year, it would have won. Yeah. So what I'm getting at is Derrick Henry is the Citizen Kane of football right now. For those who haven't seen Citizen Kane, Don, the movie's about a 70-year-old newspaper tycoon, Charles Foster Kane, and how he revived a dying newspaper into a major empire. That's funny. It's kind of like how Derrick Henry revived the running back position into an important piece of NFL offenses yet again. And like Citizen Kane, Derrick Henry is going to go down as one of the all-time greats. He's only played 5 seasons and really only got ample playing time in the last 3. And he's already got 4 200-yard rushing games to his name. That's 3rd all time, tied with some dude's name, Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Earl Campbell. He's also the first running back in NFL history with 4 200-yard, 2-touchdown games. Now, is it an uphill battle for him to win MVP? Yes. And unfortunately, this hill is steeper than the hills he would run up on in his workout videos that he posted to Instagram in the offseason. Why? Because the MVP isn't the MVP. It's the MVQB. This award only goes to quarterbacks, because quarterbacks don't get enough attention as it is. Got to give them something, And look, this isn't a knock at Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes. They're lighting up the league and the commercial time of the league with their State Farm commercials. They're very capable and probably will win MVP this year. I say that because a running back hasn't won the award since 2012 when Adrian Peterson did it. And even before then, it was 2006 with LaDainian Tomlinson in his first season of back-to-back rushing titles, a feat that hasn't been accomplished since until maybe this year if Derrick Henry stays on pace. But just like how the NFL MVP is an award for any other quarterbacks, it's also not a lifetime achievement award. It's for this season and this season only. So let's talk about this season only. Without Derrick Lamar Henry Jr., the Titans aren't 9-4 right now. As he goes, so does the team. When he cracks the century mark, the team is 6-2. And unlike the State Farm bros, Derrick doesn't get to touch the ball on every play. And yet, even still, the entire offense revolves around 22. His production makes his teammates better. On nearly every pass play, the Titans run play action. And because of that, Ryan Tannehill is the 6th highest rated quarterback in the sport. And the Titans could have not 1, but 2 1,000-yard receivers. And not only is the most valuable player on the 4th best team in the AFC, he's also so much better than anyone else in the sport at his position. When it comes to quarterbacks, you could flip a coin between Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. Heck, you could even argue Josh Allen belongs in there. But at running back, there's no question about who's the best. Like the Jaguars playing the Titans, it's not even close. He has 180 yards more than the next closest running back, Dalvin Cook. He has more 20-plus yard runs than anyone in the sport and over twice as many as Dalvin Cook. In fact, almost half of Derrick Henry's 1,500 yards rushing have come after contact. Let me say that again for the Derrick Henry is running soft crowd. Cough, Don, cough.
Yeah.
Almost
I take it back. Okay.
That will never die. I will never let that die.
I know.
Almost half of his yards this year have come after contact. In fact, if you only recorded his yards after contact, he's still 10th in the entire sport in rushing. That's absurd. And yesterday he put up 200 yards rushing while barely even playing in the fourth quarter. Plus, he's the only running back this year to literally pick up another human and throw him into the stands. I mean, that's got to count for something, right? I mean, just ask Josh Norman once he regains consciousness. He straight up threw him into the Cumberland River like he was a mob boss. I'd like to see Pat Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers do that to Jake from State Farm. Bet they can, All I'm saying is don't get lazy, NFL MVP voters. Don't just give this award to another quarterback because they're quarterbacks. Actually look at who is the most valuable player, as the name suggests. Like Rodgers and Mahomes, Derrick Henry is going to be one of the greatest to ever play the game. And Derrick Henry is putting together the greatest season of his career thus far. You can't say that about the State Farmers. They've both had better seasons than this year. So listen, don't be the person who voted for how green was my valley. Give the MVP to the NFL Citizen Kane, Derrick Lamar Henry Jr.
Well put.
How green is my valley?
NFL voters don't get lazy. That is but legit, that's a great quote right there.
I want people to tweet us and tell us without even knowing how green is my valley about? Like, what is that movie about?
Right.
I've never even heard of it.
Yep. Good stuff. Derrick Henry just 9 yards away from bettering last season's mark of 1540, which won him an NFL rushing title. He's a couple 100 yards ahead of Dalvin Cook, 180, I think, Dalvin Cook to be exact. Thanks, Austin. Good stuff, man.
Hey, Rosebud.